So I'm in the cafeteria, I'm reading a Star Trek novel. I think it was called The Klingon Gambit or something like this. And this kid walks up to me. Hey, I'm Dave. Dave's tall, he's got a friendly face, and he goes, you seem pretty cool. Now that was something I had never heard before. And he goes, you should come over to my house this weekend. We'll eat some queso, watch some Star Trek. Now, I don't know what queso is. And I don't know who Dave is. I had never seen this guy before in my life. So this whole conversation is really weird. But then again, in the last 6 months, my family moved from New York to Florida. I watched my dog get run over by a car, my family divorced, and the guy from across the street moved in with my mom and us kids. So weird is starting to seem really fucking normal, people. Plus, I'm the only kid in 7th grade with 0 friends, so I say yes. And my mom is so psyched for me, she doesn't even interview his parents to see if they're psychos or corruptors, you know? She just drops me off. And by the time she picks me up, I love queso. And I love Dave. And soon we're spending our days eating Taco Bell and nights playing Super Mario Brothers. We're in chess club. We go camping. We play volleyball. We even sleep in the same bed. Head to toe, guys, which is way grosser than the other way around, believe me. And at the end of high school, he gives me a Vulcan neck pinch and says, you're my bro from another mo. Yeah. But when we go to college together, Dave changes. He discovers something called marijuana. And it becomes clear right away that if I'm gonna hang out with Dave, I gotta be into marijuana too, even though I'm really not. And so to encourage me, every time I toke up, he says, you're the macho man! Which sounds cool, but I don't wanna get high watching 90210. The show sucks. But I also don't wanna lose my best friend, so I smoke. And with every hit, I feel like we're growing a little farther apart. And when we graduate and go our separate ways, I feel like I don't know him at all. Then in 2000, it's the holidays, we're back home, and he gives me a call. We got to go see the Dolphins game on New Year's Eve. Now it's the playoffs, but I don't want to go. I hate the Dolphins. I'm a Jets fan, they're huge rivals. And playoffs, people, are really expensive, okay? And I don't like spending money, just so you know, ladies, all right? But the more I think about it, I'm like, hey, if we go to the game, that is several hours in a row with Dave without feeling any pressure to smoke, because, you know, the stadium. And I think Dave gets this, because he promises to find us cheap tickets before game day. So on Sunday, he rolls up with his wife in this VW microbus, because of course. And I get in, and there's a little roach on the armrest. And I'm not talking about the little creature that's going to survive the Trump apocalypse, people. I mean, this is a soggy, charred remnant of a joint. And I grab it, and I throw it out the window. And he's like, man, I was saving that. And I'm thinking, for what? And in like an immediate revenge, he grabs the Fleetwood Mac CD I brought along, and he throws it out the window. Like at 65 miles an hour. And that's when I realized that he loves weed almost as much as I love Stevie Nicks. I thought it was impossible. I'm pissed, but I get over it. We get to the stadium, tailgate, and about an hour before the game, I'm like, you know, how much do I owe you for the ticket? And that's when he packs this little pipe that looks like a cigarette with pot and goes, yeah, I'm still working on that. So this means we gotta buy scalp tickets. I'm against it. You know, I mean, like, scalpers are like the ticket sales equivalent of pot smokers. You can't trust them. But Dave's like, chill out, man. You know, as the game time gets closer, the ticket price goes down, and after kickoff, the price gets even cheaper. And I like the sound of that, so I hold out. But, you know, the people aren't familiar with his scalper theory, because by game time, the ticket prices haven't budged, and I'm ready to get in that car and leave. Then Dave goes, I got one more idea. And whatever it is, it's got to be better than getting stoned in the parking lot. So I follow him to gate 1, 2, 3, and at gate 4, he's like, this is it. And I don't get it. But he goes, this is where we're going to sneak in. No. I don't sneak in. And he's like, no, check it out. There's only one ticket taker. There's no security behind her. If we can get past the turnstile, we're home free. This is the worst plan I've ever heard in my entire life. But he says, if you don't make it in, I won't go in either. So as to prove his point, his wife jumps in line. And like I'm in full-on anthropologist mode, okay? Because I don't understand a world where this plan is even possible. And Dave narrates her progress, she's like, she's chilling. Oh, she's at the ticket taker, she pushes through, she's in! And Robin turns around and she does one of these, woo! And Dave goes, woo! And I am aghast, and I look at the ticket taker, and she's just sitting there going, whatever, And Dave's like, well, what's she gonna do? Stop tearing tickets? There's a line of people in front of her. And it's the first thing he's said all day that makes any sense to me. So when he taps me on the back, I get in line like Rain Man in Vegas. Ticket taker's on my right, so I kind of lean left, already trying to get away. And my stomach tightens. Because part of me knows the Dolphins aren't worth this shit, My eyesight gets hazy, and I see my mother from like the 80s with a wooden spoon, shouting, God is watching you. And just as she's about to strike me, I push through the turnstiles because this is the 2000 and there's no UPC driven turnstiles. Through her arms into this open space behind her where I collapse almost immediately to my knees. My arms are outstretched. I want them to take me away because that would be right. But Dave gets to me first. And he's like, dude, you are so white. And I'm like, I know, I like rules, okay? And he goes, no, you are white as a ghost. Now, let's go find our seats. But hey, genius, we don't got any seats, right? But leave it to Dave. Like right away, he finds 3 in the end zone. And we sit down, but I can't enjoy the game. I'm on the lookout for security. Every time an usher goes by, I'm like, you're doing a hell of a job, man. I tip the beer guys extra, And finally this family shows up, and they're like looking at their tickets, they're looking at us, and I know we're fucked. So I preemptively stand up, and I'm like, sorry, but it was his idea. And I don't take 2 steps away before Dave goes, look, man. And he points across the field to the 50-yard line, 30 rows back, the best place to watch a game as far as I'm concerned, 3 more empty seats. And I can't believe it. I mean, he has glasses, but he never wears them because he's vain, but he can see free from a mile away, and there it is. So he drags us over there by halftime, and by the end of the third quarter, I start to relax. The sun feels warm on my face. The Miller Lite is really working, if you know what I mean. And I think of all the times we used to fake rush fraternities because we could get free shrimp cocktail. And I remember how he punched me in the balls once when we were on a road trip because I farted in his car. And I think maybe he really does believe that I am the macho man. So when the Dolphins score at the end of regulation, forcing overtime because it's tied, I feel good. This is a great game. And when those fucking Dolphins win in overtime, I stand up with the crowd, yes! And when I look over to Dave, he's smiling at me. And he gives me that old Vulcan neck pinch. And for a moment, anyway, he's my bro from another mo all over again. Thank you.